right. Good morning, everyone that is watching on JCTV Africa and on Zim Social. Welcome to this broadcast as we bring you an analysis that is unbiased and we try to dissect a number of issues that are happening in Zimbabwe. And today we are looking at this small clip video that was released. It is there on social media. You can go and check it out on the Facebook page that I got it from. But it is a snippet from a sermon that Makandiwa was preaching the other day. But anyway, I want to go into the contents of the message because you remember a few weeks back on Easter, specifically, the president visited Makandiwa's church. And, a lot of people, started saying a lot of things. And I also highlighted that it was not good for a preacher to invite a president and then allow the person to preach. It should be the other way around. So let's just take a look at the video and then I'm going to give my comments later.
So I'm asking this question, if you have nothing to protect, what makes you care about voting for the right person? If you have nothing to lose, you have nothing to gain. You vote according to your investment into that economy. Everywhere. Sit down. That's what they say. Mushona ya vachiti unovotera chairman we Diba asina mombe. That's what they say. When that's like a chairman we Diba monovotera asina mombe.
You vote for a man without any cattle for him to be the chairman of the DIP.
Are you following this? Are you following this? That is why some people cannot understand why a man of God should stand here and say, thank you for the roads. Because they think we are all here to preach. They think I'm just... That thank you is not coming from a man of God. It's coming from a businessman. What are you talking about? Are you telling me that in this country we still have people at the age of voting who do not understand the importance of connections, road-wise? Sit down.
All right. So that is the video. I'm going to play it again, but let me just make this contribution. First of all, we want to understand what about the comments first. He says that you are supposed to, if you can't vote if you have nothing to protect. First of all, it is a wrong statement because you vote because it is your right. You don't vote because you have something to protect. You vote because it is your right. You are born into that country. Do not apply to be born in Zimbabwe or to be born in any other country. So you vote because you are born into that country, right? So your voting has nothing to do with any investment that you can think of. It has everything to do with you being a citizen. So he is wrong. You cannot tell people that vote because you want to protect your investment. No, you don't vote because you want to protect your investment. You vote because it is your legal right. And every government is entitled, one, to build roads. You come here to South Africa, you find there is a company called Sunround that is building roads. As you are driving in the freeway, there is toll gates. They are collecting toll gates from there. They also get their revenue from fuel levies. And they do it. The president of the country is not seen going around, celebrating opening of a road. Why? Because it is their right to provide a safe road, to provide education in a country. So I think it's misinformation. It's total misinformation. A preacher cannot encourage people to vote because they want to protect their assets or their investment or their economy. He cannot do that because that defeats the purpose. The purpose of every citizen for them to vote is because it is their right. Every citizen has got the right to education. Every citizen has got the right to health. Every citizen has the right to associate, has got the right to go to church. Yeah, it's called freedom of association, freedom of religion. It is your right. You don't do it because you want to protect anything. You do it because it is your right. So that is a wrong interpretation of the Constitution. So it is very, very important to understand that. Then the second thing is that he missed on his address, which is totally wrong. The second thing is, I want you to see how foolish preachers are and how powerful they are. Foolish, but how powerful they are. Preachers are approached by politicians, and politicians put them in their pocket in order to solicit votes, in order to get support, and they threaten them with their rights. A preacher, like what he's saying, that I am protecting my investment or whatever. In other words, he is saying that I am voting for this government or I am supporting this government because I have my connections. And it means that I am voting because I want to protect that. But what they don't know is it is their legal right as a citizen to be allocated land, to be allowed to do business in a country because it is your legal right. You just take your share as a citizen according to your ability. That's what it is. If, like, look, for example, someone like Strive Masiwa, he is taking his share from the people of Zimbabwe, right? If someone has a farm, they are given a farm according to their ability. Are they able to pay 500 workers? Yes, of course they can. When David Whitehead was operating in Zimbabwe, was it able to pay those thousands of workers that they had? Yes, they could. The government allows them to operate. So you are allowed to do what you can do in your country based on your ability. But now, let's come to the issue of saying that I said that preachers are foolish, but they don't know how powerful they are. They don't know how powerful they are in the sense that the politicians, they come to them so that they can get votes or they can stop them, because a preacher has got the power to influence a congregation. Let me take, for example, you remember the like of Archbishop Pius Ncube, how harassed he was. They harassed him. Just a normal clergyman of Roman Catholic, I don't know if Roman Catholic or Anglican, if I'm not mistaken, but he was harassed. They harassed him. Why did they harass him? Why did they have to go all the way to frame Archbishop Pius Ncube? It's because they understand that, you see, the fear that they have is that if all these preachers that are in Zimbabwe, for example, let's say the preachers that are in Mutendi, the preachers that are in, like, for example, Baba Kuti, the preachers like Makandiwa, the preachers like whoever, any other preacher, how many people do they command in terms of numbers? They command a lot of people. So what happens is, if these people are going to be told by their leader that people were protesting, if, like, just for example, if all these leaders, maybe just 5, let's say Paul Maja, Emmanuel Makandiwa, Apostle Ezekiel Guti, and Nehemiah Mtendi, all of them, they just say, or even this one who died recently, Simon Berume, if all of them, they gather, they send each other one message, they say, we are tired of this government. Every member of this church, let's go in the street. They don't have to even do it. They can just do it virtually. Nowadays, they can just put out a video. My name is Nehemiah Mtendi. I'm not happy with what is going on with the government, the people that are dying and everything. And then they tell the government, the people, that it is my right, it's my constitutional right that this happens. You meet me in the street. These politicians will be powerless. They cannot do anything. That's how powerful preachers or clergymen are. But what do they do? These people, they come and they give them money. After giving them money, they promise them that, okay, we'll protect your investment. They give them farms, they give them all this. And they influence their power. Why do you think politicians want to come to church? They come to church because they know your power. So if these politicians can use that power to their advantage, these preachers can use their power to their advantage to say, look, we're not happy with what is happening in this country. What our politicians are doing to us, or what the government, our president is doing to us, we don't like it. Do you know how much power it will command? To command a lot of power. But to them, they are comfortable having crumbs instead of having to make their congregation an army of people that can advocate for change, so that even them, they can have a better life. That's how powerful a preacher is. Even another good example that I can give you, a relevant example, or a living example of Apostle Chwenga. Apostle Chwenga, right now, he controls a constituency of people. If I can say control, he commands, in the sense that there are people that are sitting at his feet and they are listening. And from the knowledge that they have gotten so far, including myself, we become resolute. We become people who are now understanding that, in this life, we only live it once. And this life is like a vapor. It can be taken away from you. And if you are not living it right, hoping that tomorrow you are going to have it, it can be taken away from you. So having that backdrop of understanding that I am here, I'm passing as a vapor. Tomorrow I can be gone. So it means that I will have that understanding. And I'm not going to be intimidated by a mere mortal man and say, I'm afraid that, they are going to attack my family, they are going to attack this. I understand that if I live, I live for Christ. If I die, I die for Christ. That's it. So the preachers, the Bible says that fear not that one who can be able to kill the body, but fear that one who is able to take your soul and put it in hell. So I don't know which Bibles do they read, the likes of Makandiwa, because they are the ones who are supposed to be commanding those verses from the Bible that, Your Excellency, with all due respect, the country is not in good state. We put you there, and we are going to make sure that you live up to your promise. You deliver to us good health care. You deliver to us this thing. Even if you checked what Pastor Ivan did, Pastor Ivan started commanding support, even though he has a small church there in Harare. But he started commanding respect because he is speaking from a position of power. And preachers and clergymen, they have that power. But they are being fooled by politicians not to use it. And they cannot see that the politician is coming begging for power from them to say, don't use your power, otherwise we are going to be in deep trouble. They cannot arrest all preachers in Zimbabwe. That cannot happen. They cannot terrorize all preachers. If all the preachers in Zimbabwe, including Makandiwa, can stand up and say, we are tired of this. We are tired of Makombi. We are tired of this. These are the very people whom they can just say on a Sunday, as a preacher, enough with all this nonsense. We are tired of Shaya Makombi. We are tired of this. We are tired of that. Government should act. Everyone in the streets, let's go there. He goes in the streets and he starts to command the people to say, let's do this. All of these preachers, you don't need a council, just a Sunday to coordinate each other. He calls the other preacher and say, look, I'm telling my congregation that enough is enough. They call the other preacher, I'm telling my congregation enough is enough. They coordinate each other, just phone calls, and stand on the pulpit and say, today it's a Sunday, or tomorrow it's a Monday. We are coming to the streets. We want A, B, C, D, because we are citizens. We want A, B, C, D. The government will act swiftly. They will stop all this nonsense. They cannot lock up all the preachers, because the people who follow these preachers will say, who will die with our leader? So that's how foolish, that's how powerful. Foolish and powerful. Maybe if it was a message, I can say the foolishness and the powerfulness of a preacher, which they don't know that they have. If they could just step into that power, into that strength that they have, one can say, no, they will intimidate him, they will do that. They will not do it. That's why they come so low to come and try to preach in your church, because they know that they don't have the power, they don't have the people, and they want to have the people from your church. But because of fear, which the Bible says that, right, anything that you do that is not of faith is sin. So imagine what Makandiwa is doing. He's doing everything in fear. But if you remember in the Bible that Peter and even Paul, if you read Acts chapter 4, you find that Peter said, we are not so careful to answer, to respond to you, but whatever we hear, that is what we are going to say. Whatever we hear from God, we're going to say. We're not going to be saying, no, want to listen to what the president is saying. We're going to say what the Bible is saying about us and what the constitution of the country says. If you check all this, like if you check, let me just conclude this by saying, if you remember, Paul, I think in the book of Acts chapter 22, Paul was about to be flogged by a Roman, but because Paul had a citizenship, he had a Roman citizenship. He was a Jew, yes, but he had a Roman citizenship. He was born a Roman. How did that happen? There were people who were working for the Roman Empire, and their children automatically became citizens. And some of the people, they bought the citizenship. And you know what the soldier said? He said, with the sum of man, I bought the citizenship. And said, no, I was born a Roman. What did Paul do? As much as he was a preacher, He knew his rights. He said you cannot flog a Roman and go unpunished. Go and find that scripture. You cannot flog a Roman and go unpunished. He told a Roman soldier that you cannot do that to a Roman citizen and go unpunished. And that's how Paul was protected from people violating his rights. But what our preachers doing? They don't pull out the constitution that protects them. They pull out fear and put it in their congregation. That's why we have people that are cowards. But if we had preachers who can say, look, you cannot bus us and bring us into a place for us to agree with you. No. We are going to tell you what we want. If you don't want, then you are out. As a president, you are out. Because if we just tell our army of our congregants that we are tired of this government, we don't want it, it's enough. That's enough word for people to say, we are tired of this government and we are tired of ABCD and we want it changed. So I just want to say that as I conclude, let me just play this clip so that it can consolidate the message that I was trying to put across, to say. We must understand that the role of a preacher is not for him to enrich himself, but the role of a preacher is for him Let's listen to that.
So I'm asking this question, if you have nothing to protect, what makes you care about voting for the right person? If you have nothing to lose, you have nothing to gain. You vote according to your investment into that economy. Everywhere. Sit up. That's what they say. Mushona ya vachiti unovotera chairman we diba asina mombe. That's what they say. When a chairman we diba monovotera asina mombe.
You vote for a man without any cattle for him to be the chairman of the dip.
Are you following this? Are you following this? That is why some people cannot understand why a man of God should stand here and say, thank you for the rods.
Right. On that part, he is saying a man of God can stand up and say, thank you for the rods. Wow. Because he's saying that he's a business person. But he's a business person who's using the wrong platform to communicate his message. Because as a business person, you can invite the president to a business forum, or you can invite other business people and say, let us thank the president for what he's doing. You don't use the pulpit to thank the president. You can do that in business forums. There are many business forums in Zimbabwe that you can call the president and say, come, attend, and let us thank you. But you cannot use the pulpit, which is the place of salvation, and you use it to thank a mortal man. So there is a problem. Because the road networks that he's talking about, that is saying that we want to thank the president, it is his legal right to make sure that the roads are okay. That's why he was voted there. People are paying tolls. People are paying levies. People are paying all that. And then you say thank you. It's almost like saying thank you to when you get in Maoke and get there and buy stuff, and you say, I want to, and you invite workers from OK and say, I want to say thank you for selling to me cooking oil. Do you get it? Because it's your money. You paid and you got what you wanted. Everyone that is driving in Zimbabwe, or everyone that is living in Zimbabwe, they are paying a tax that allows them to have good roads. So they are paying someone to be a president. And that president is supposed to report back to them and say, I have done ABCD. But that same president saying, thank me for the work that I have done, but yet the person is paying. Is that how you do to your workers? To say to your workers that are working for you, you say, the workers that are working for you, you say, thank me. Is that what you do? If your workers that are working for you, right, they don't stand up and say to you, thank me for working for you. Do they do that? You pay them their money, they do the work, and that's it. So that is the same thing that is there. The president has been given a mandate by people, by virtue of people voting for him. And number two, the president is implementing taxes, and the people are paying those taxes. The president is in charge of people paying toll gates. People are paying toll fees. People are paying mutero, and all those discs that they are paying. It is there for them to service the roads, and to service the clinics, and to service so that everyone can afford health care. But then you find then a preacher comes out and say, I want to say thank you to the president for what he's doing. But he is one who has employed that same president. So it is a problem. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment section about this. But I just thought I need to share with you this understanding or this misconstrued message that Makandiwa is saying, that people must vote so that they can protect their interest. It's not so, Mr. Makandiwa. It is about your legal right as an individual. You are supposed to register to vote because it is your right. You have the right to choose a leader. You have the right to have health care. You have the right to have all these things that are enshrined in our constitution. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, share this video with your family and friends, and I'll see you on the next episode. In the meantime, please have a good day and ciao ciao.